Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm coming to you from Mount Faber Peak on the beautiful island of Singapore. Okay guys, in this video today I've got it's quite an extensive day planned. I'm going to be looking at a couple of Singapore World War II historical sites. First up, I'm going to be heading out on the cable car across the Sentosa Island. And then hopefully this afternoon, if the rain holds off, I'm going to check out a place in the Keppel Bay area. Rightio then, without further ado, I'll head upstairs and buy a ticket for the cable car crossing. Alright, here we are at the ticketing spot. I'll grab my ticket and jump on one of the cable cars. Alright, I read online that tickets are $35 for the day. We'll check it out and see what the prices are. Alright, there it is there, the prices for the cable car across to Sentosa Island. Anybody that's interested, the $35 ticket gives you like a full day's coverage. There's also a cable car on Sentosa Island, so the $35 cost covers that also. Alright then, here I am at the boarding point, and as you can see there's some cable cars coming in and out. I'm looking forward to it, should be a good day. Alright, the $35 ticket gives you the standard type of cable car like that one there. I've paid the extra $8 and I'm going on the new, what they call Sky Orb, which has got a glass viewing window in the bottom of it. Alright, here we are, the Sky Orb. And as you can see there, there's a glass window on the bottom of it. Alright, that's it. I'm on my way. This is quite a spectacular view. We're heading across from the cable car station on Mount Faber Peak to the Harbour Front, and then further on to Sentosa Island. And I'll just pan down and give you a view through the floor. And there's all the foliage and vegetation below there. Alright, for anybody that's interested in doing this, getting up to Faber Peak, there's actually no public transport that goes up there. You'll need to take a taxi or a grab, or if you don't want to start from Faber Peak, you can take the MRT train to the Harbourfront Terminal and start from this location that's just up ahead here. Alright, that's a view of the busy Singapore roads straight below there. Alright, here we are, we're just running through the Harbourfront cable car terminal. I guess there'll be a short stop there while people get on or get off. Alright, that's it. We're leaving the Harbourfront terminal and heading across the Sentosa Island. And that's one of those orbital glass bottom viewing cable cars. Alright, here we are, we're dropping down onto Sentosa Island. And here we are at the Sentosa cable car station. I'll jump off here and head to what is called the internal line.
If you are late here, please exit through the gift shop and remember to take all your belongings with you. Enjoy your stay.
Alright, that ride across from Faber Peak was pretty good. I'm on Sentosa Island now and I'm heading to the cable car to take me to Siloso Fort. Alright, looks as though I got my bearings wrong there. I've got to go to this cable car station, Sky Helix, which apparently is down there somewhere. Alright, this is all very nicely laid out. I'll stop here for a coffee on the way back. It looks pretty good. Alright, this is the one here, the Imbia Lookout Station. Alright, getting on the next cable car, and I'm heading to Siloso Point, which is where the Second World War II port is. Alright, a little bit of history for you. Believe it or not, the first time I came over here was almost 50 years ago. Back then, none of this was here. It was pretty much undeveloped. I remember they had these tiny little gondolas that came across from the mainland, and then I had to get on a bus and go out to the various sightseeing attractions around the island. That beach that's down there was nothing like that back then. It was basically just mud flats, but obviously in the ensuing 50 years a hell of a lot's happened. It's quite a neat view of the cable cars. Once I get to the end point, I've got a bit of a walk to get to the fort. Alright, there we are, nearly at the end of the line. That's the Siloso cable car terminal right below us there. Alright, here we are at Siloso Point Station, and I'll jump off here and head to the fort. Alright, looks as though I'm heading in the right direction. There's the signage, and I've got to head up this road here somewhere. Alright, I'm at the supposed to be the entrance to Fort Siloso. Apparently there's a skywalk here. I don't know whether it's a stairway or lift, but I'll go and check it out.
You want to come closer a bit?
Start talking.
Okay, right now you're over here.
Yep.
So if you see there's two lifts over there. So if you take the lift to level 2, you'll be at the skywalk. So
Yep.
if you walk across the skywalk, you'll be at the introduction of Fort Siloso.
Okay.
So Fort Siloso, you can think of it like a round. So if you finish the entire Fort Siloso, you should
Yep.
be exiting over here. But if you're tired halfway or you want to come back, you can just make the same walk back and take the lift down and exit.
Alright. I can come back via the trail, is it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's up to you. You can come back via the trail or you can come back by the skywalk and take the lift down. Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much for your help.
No problem.
Alright, after a bit of help from that staff guy, I've got all the information I need, and I'm going to head up on the lift to the skywalk. Alright, this is pretty neat. This is the skywalk that goes to Fort Siloso. Pretty nice view from up here. Look out across back onto the Singapore mainland there. Alright, here I am on the skywalk going to Fort Siloso on Sentosa Island. Thankfully the weather's nice and cool. It's a bit overcast, rain is forecast, but at the moment looks like it's holding off. Yeah, this is quite a nice setting here. Plenty of tree growth. And here we are at Fort Siloso. And apparently this is one of the main defence forts for the British during World War II. I'll just follow the trail and see where we end up. Alright, a little bit of a path to follow. Trail, I should say, with all the various sightseeing attractions. Looks actually quite well set up. Alright, so according to the sign, the earliest defences in this location were actually set up in 1878, which is going back quite a ways. Alright, well, this is pretty neat. According to the sign, straight down there we've got a tunnel complex. I'll go and check it out. Alright, I'm heading down into the tunnel now, or the tunnel complex I should say. Alright, this is pretty neat. There's a background audio there of what they actually did here. I think this is the supply for the 6-inch gun.
You'll normally expect to find working behind the desk at Johnny's or enjoying a gin swing at the Long Bar in Raffles Hotel. The gentleman of
Alright, these ammunition hoists, according to the sign, were set up in 1890. This actually supplied the 6-inch gun. Alright, well, that tunnel complex down below there apparently was the magazine for supplying the 6-inch gun, which is just over there, and I'll go and have a look at it. Alright, here it is, a closer look at the 6-inch gun. I guess at some point in time in the past, or when it was set up for use, none of that foliage was there. There's probably a clear view out over the bay. Alright, here we are at Battery Command, and looks as though these guys were spotters for any potential enemy vessels out over the bay. Alright, that's the Battery Command out of the way, and according to that sign, I head down there. I'm going to Fort Siloso Square. Alright, there's some kind of display centre here with an interactive experience. We'll step inside and have a look. It's Singapore's World War II history. Alright, quite a few photos of the day, and plenty of information placards there. Alright, so there's the meaning of the name. It's a Filipino word which means apparently jealous person. Heading down into the inner sanctum of the whole area. Okay, they've got a video there which gives a bit of historical perspective. Alright, continue on through the little display area here. Alright, there's all the info about World War II. It's actually a pretty good display. the Battle of Singapore. Alright, well that's it. That's the interactive tour over. Time to head back outside. Here we are. Alright, we've got some very large guns here. 9.2 inch, 8 inch, and another 9.2 inch. Okay, we've got another 6-inch gun battery up here, and a tunnel. It's probably a magazine. It's just down there. I'll go down and have a look at it. Alright, we're heading into another 6-inch gun battery magazine. It was pretty good. Yeah, that wasn't very nice back then. Anyway, thankfully it's all in the past. Alright, for one reason or another this area here is chained off. It's basically just another magazine for another 6-inch gun. Pretty much the same as the first one I went into. Alright, we'll go and have a look at the 6-inch gun which that magazine supplied, and it's over there. I'm not quite sure if I can get up to it. Alright, that's the shell feeder from the magazine down below, and obviously that was for supplying the 6-inch gun over there. Alright, this site's pretty extensive. I'm now heading to an area which has apparently got the biggest tunnel complex. We'll go and check it out. Alright, the old storeroom, and other artillery gun there. Alright, there's the view they would have had out over the bay there on the southern defences of Singapore. Obviously back in the day a lot of this foliage wouldn't have been here, otherwise it would have obstructed their views. Alright, I've had a little bit of a, I suppose you'd call it a spanner in the works. We're doing some work in the Tunnel A complex, so I've got to go back, and apparently there's another entrance up here somewhere. Alright, here it is. Tunnel A complex entry. Alright, this is pretty neat. Nice long sloping pathway. Thankfully it's nice and cool down here. It's getting a bit hot out there now. I'm heading towards midday. And once again we've got an air raid siren in the background there. We've got the observation post with a 12-pound gun up there. Alright, this is quite a large, I suppose you'd call it an air raid shelter down here. A bit of a labyrinth of passages down here. Alright, pushing on with my tour of Siloso Fort in Singapore's Sentosa Island, and according to the information placard, Siloso is actually a Filipino word which means jealous person. Alright, we're at the back end of the tunnel complex.
Yes, sir.
And
good luck to you too, sir.
Some more audio of the day in the background there. Here we go. This looks like one of the main guns that looked out over the approaches to the harbour there. Alright, we've got a small gun and it looks out over the approach to the harbour there. Alright, this is the watchtower out over the bay, and obviously directly below it is the 6-inch gun. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up the look at Tunnel A complex. In keeping with the theme of the channel, this is not really, I guess you say, off the beaten track, but it's certainly got some great historical stuff if you're interested in World War II history in Singapore. We've got these large guns here as well to look at. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's quite an array of old guns there. Alright, here we go then. This is the location where the official surrender of the British to the Japanese took place on the 15th of February 1942. Okie doke. There we go. And we've got a quote there from Winston Churchill. There's another ill-fated quote by the British command back in the day. Alright, we're heading into the surrender chamber. This is pretty neat. All these mannequins here, a reenactment of the day when the surrender took place. Little did the British know what they were letting themselves in for. 3 years of absolute hell. The Japanese had no respect for people who surrendered. Their code was fight to the death. Alright, this is pretty neat. Important part of Singapore history. All the surrender chambers. Alright, that's the surrender chambers sorted out. It's quite interesting. Some very good historical stuff here in Singapore for anybody that's interested. This fort is pretty amazing. It's quite an extensive site. Thankfully there's a bit of tree cover here because it's getting towards midday and it's getting really hot. I don't know how much longer I can keep going. I need to sit down somewhere and grab a cold drink. Alright, there you go for anybody that's coming up here. Those are the hours. 10 AM to 6 PM. Last admission 5:30. I'm just going to grab a seat in the shade there and have a well-earned drink before I push on. Alright, this is one of the entrances into the fort. If I follow this trail, which is going downhill here, that'll go around back to the skywalk entrance. I'm going to give that a miss because a lot of it looks to be under direct sunlight. I'll head up through the tree line. Alright, I'm going to take this stairway back up to the skywalk path. It's mostly in the shade, so looks pretty good. Alright, what we got here is looks like some sort of traverse system up and down the hill for the guns. Alright, what we got here is the barracks and officers' mess. We're going to have a look and see see what's inside. Alright, a little bit of a representation of how things were back in the day. All these mannequins. Alright, we're going to check out about a soldier's life. They own the hammocks. What you got to keep in mind is that back then there was no air conditioning. Life would have been stinking bloody hot. I mean, I don't even know if they had fans back then. Anyway, we'll push on. We're getting towards the end of it now, so it's been a pretty good tour so far. Alright, that pretty much wraps up the tour of Fort Siloso. I think I've seen most of it. There were some parts that were actually blocked off. There was maintenance work going on or something like that. So anyway, it's a pretty good day's outing. For anybody that's interested in Singapore war history, or World War II I should say. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to see my upcoming adventures throughout Southeast Asia. Okie doke then, we'll see you on the next one.